Wasabi party people, welcome back. We're here at the Freedom Farm. Go do a little bullet testing with the 22 DPC today. I shot this thing over the weekend in a PRS match, and if you've never shot a PRS match with a gas gun, give it a try sometime. It is a hoot. I had a blast. And it shot pretty well too. Unfortunately, I didn't get a load really worked up and tuned in for this before the match. Last week I was trying to figure out what the problem was with this thing, and Kenny said, hey, get a crimper, and I'd ordered one. It came in the Friday before the match, so I tested this out. I was not getting any bullet jump. I went ahead and played with that crimper in the process of when I'm seeding bullets or whatever, or resizing brass. Apparently there wasn't enough pressure when I was pushing the lever down to move that plate, but that top turret plate on my Redding T7, when I went to go crimp it, that whole plate moved, and I realized the top bolt holding that on had come loose or was not tightened in the first place. So I thought, man, maybe that's it. Maybe that's what's causing this variance, that when I'm loading seeding bullets, that it's not consistent. I'm sure it probably wasn't. So I resized all my brass before I loaded up my rounds for the tournament, or for the match. And I got there to the sight-in range. I was really hoping that little tweak would fix my issue of inconsistency with the 88 grain ELDM. It did not.
It's the run-up of an elite failure.
I got there and man, I would shoot the bullseye, and I have a flyer right, flyer left, blah, blah, blah. I loaded up for today. I had some ELDMs that I was going to sight in and test out with a 27 grain charge. I realized I had a whole mag, a backup mag of ammo from the match, so I'm going to shoot that. That's 88 grain with 28 grain CFE 223. I have some 27 grain CFE 223 loaded up. I also have some 80 grain Sierra Match Kings. I have some Burger 80 grain VLDs, which I think, if I recall correctly, I'll have to go back through his videos, but I believe Kenny developed this rifle and chambering around that bullet. So we'll see. And I have that to the recommended load. I think it's 28.3 grains of CFE 223. I have some Sierra 77 grain Match Kings, 28.3 grains CFE 223, I believe. And then got some cool ones, man. I have some Hornady 52 grain ELDMs. That's what that little bullet looks like in that case. It's pretty cool looking. When I was seating it though, these were hard to depress, and hopefully the camera picks it up, but when I would seat that, I'd leave a ring where my bullet seater stem had pushed on that. So most of these little guys have a ring. That one doesn't, but most of them have a little ring where that seating stem left a little dent in it. And I will say this, the Sierras, they were a little more difficult to load than the Hornadys or the Burgers. They seem fatter, or maybe it's the boat tail's not as slick as the others, because these were a little difficult to press in. I did not have my rifle with me to test seating depths with these, so I wung it on these Sierras. I have them seated at 2.12. The VLDs, Kenny had load data for that, so I loaded those to recommended length. And these 80 grainers, I loaded to the length of 2.17. These little 52 grainers I put at 1.99 or 2.0, I can't remember. I had a viewer say, hey, you want to check your shoulders on that? I'm like, man, that loose turret press, that's what it is. I wouldn't get consistent shoulder bump, which is probably the case. And I'm sure there's variance in there from that being loose. But it didn't seem to make a difference when I was at the range shooting it. I'll show you. So we'll see today. But he also, my buddy, Reloading Fun, he's like, how many shots do you have on that barrel? Because I wouldn't give a whole lot of value to anything that you're doing with this if it's under 200 rounds. A couple of weeks ago when I was shooting this 88 grain ELDM, that probably, I don't know how many rounds Kenny had on this barrel before I got it, probably 150 is my guess, but that would make sense that by the time I was shooting that 88 grain ELDM, I was probably around the 250 mark on rounds down the pipe with this. I was scratching my head why this load 2 weeks ago it was shooting 2,830 feet per second, 2,820 somewhere there feet per second on the average, and now it's shooting 2,850 to 2,860. So it's sped up 40 to 50 feet per second, depending. I've had some variations with that. So essentially it's starting over again, and I'm back and I've worked up some loads to test some bullets. We're not really getting into powder charges today. We're more so testing bullets to see how these perform and if it's something I want to pursue further. I do have the lab radar out today. It is windy. There's tall grass down there. Hopefully it doesn't interfere with my readings, but I will try to shoot these in between these gusts. At home it was not windy. By the time I got down here to the farm, it's kicking pretty good today. So anyhow, we're going to jump right into this. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see how things turn out. So we're going to start off with this 88 grain ELDM. I just cleaned this pretty well. Pretty dirty from that match. Let's get this blown out and rocking and rolling here. You're at 100 yards. And here we go. Shit. So I had it dialed up. That's pretty weird. I got a 27.45 on feet per second with that.
Remember $2 a gallon gas? I do. And then Joe Biden became president of the United States and launched his war on energy. Since that time, gasoline prices are up 60%. Electricity prices are up 25%.
When I get 28.44, it's easy for me to get back here and get a light trigger pull on this thing. And I will say during competition this Saturday, I did not have any double taps, but that was a double tap. Go get some earmuffs, man. That brake, this thing is loud. These earplugs aren't cutting it. It's a bit. We're back. Last shot was 28.71, so I've been 27.75 to 28.71. It's weird. Found some earmuffs, little cheapies, but man, I'm thankful for them. This thing's loud. Even with earplugs, it's ringing my right ear. I got 2 in one hole, and then I got one at 1 o'clock off the bull. 3 in one hole, almost. 1 off at 1 o'clock. It's grouping pretty well today. No, it's not. Got 10 shots on there. Let's see what we have. Average 2830, ES 126, SD 32. Something was off on that. That double tap probably had something to do with that. Plus there's a cold bore on the first shot that I had in there. The group is okay. You know, it's nothing to write home about. Let me adjust this. Let's get into these 80 grainers here. So my damn turret head was loose. You got to pay attention in life, you know. Check on things every now and then. These are the 80 grain Sierras. I believe, I'll have to check, but I believe this is 28.3 grains CFE 223. Here we go. Top left target on the pink paper. 2880. 2898. 2884. 2906. Pretty good little 4-shot group there. We'll let this cool off a little bit. We'll shoot the other 4. Average feet per second, 28.92. ES26, SD12. Shoot these other 4. Top left, target on the pink paper. Looks like I got 3 in one hole and 1 right off the center dot. Got 1 weird one in there, but the rest have all grouped up pretty nicely. Average 29.11 on the feet per second. ES61, SD25. That is not the group you seek.
Move along.
Move along.
Shoot these 80 grain Burger VLDs, baby. Radar is armed. We're going to shoot top right target. Placed 3rd in the gas gun division on the match Saturday. Pretty proud of that. 29.33. 29.45. Spit. 29.41. ES24 SD10. Average 29.35. Group is not bad. Let this cool off a little bit. On all these I get a little half moon ejector smear. I don't have any signs from the extractor, so I think I'm alright. I mean, there's just a little half circle on those. Not too concerning to me. Got windy again. That one dropped way left on the bottom of the target dot. 29.23. Those numbers are pretty good, probably. ES18 SD8, average 29.28. Let's move on to the 77 grain Sierra. All these charges were thrown with a RCBS Matchmaster. So that's been a game changer. Holy cow, people. Where's that been all my life? Been using that Hornady lock 'em load. That Matchmaster runs circles around it. I can't keep up with the powder throws. Before it was taking me about 45 seconds around. Now it's taking like 20. And that's on match mode. Match mode's not much different than standard mode. But I tell you, man, that has sped up things for me.
It comes from China.
We'll go center left, pink paper. Bullseye. 30.07. I like how this is starting out. We'll see if it sticks together, y'all. Stay tuned. Have I found my new bullet? My new load? Maybe. Hopefully. Oh yeah. Stacking them. 29.97. Stay together, baby. Stay together. They're looking good. 30.12. Starting to climb a little bit. 29.99. That one went left. Let that cool a little bit. We'll shoot these next 4. Let's see what our numbers are with that. Ooh. ES16 SD7. Average 3,004 feet per second. Nah, that's what I'm talking about, y'all. Those are the kind of numbers I've been looking for. Those are the kind of numbers I've been looking for. And results too. That group so far is pretty good. First shot was bullseye. Second shot was right on top of it. Third was stacked on top of those. And the fourth would be off of the group to the left. Let's see how these next 4 do. Just right of the center dot, 30.14. Oh yeah, now we're 29.95. Still grouping. 30.26. 29.99. Yeah! Nice group down there too. ES31 SD14 average 3,009 feet per second. Let's let this barrel cool off and let's shoot those little 52 grainers. See how those do. Let's go have us a look at this target here before I shoot these 52 grainers. I should be practicing for fall nationals. I got those in 2 weeks coming up. Well, less than that. This is the 88 grainer ELDM 28 grain CFE 223. Not too bad, but Again, there's a weird flyer, some Lobies. Here's the 80 grain Sierras. That was my first shot, and then the rest grouped up. Not bad. Here's the 80 grain VLDs. Here's the 77 grain Sierras. This is my first shot, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and the eighth's in there somewhere. Pretty good. We're going to shoot this target down here for these 52 grainers. See how these turn out. I have some Nosler 77 grainers, RDFs or RFDs or whatever the fuck they are. And then I have some Nosler 77 grain competition bullets that I had for some reason. I'd like to give those RDFs another go, see how those turn out. And then I'd like to shoot those other Nosler competition bullets and see how those two compare. Alright gang, we have these 52 grain Hornady ELDMs. Have 8 of these puppies. Let's see what kind of numbers we get out of them, what kind of accuracy. I'm going to shoot the bottom center target on the pink paper. Can't remember the charge on these. I think this may be 30 grains. I don't know. I'll have to check when I get back home. I'll post that on the screen right there right now. Breeze is coming over my right shoulder. .3351. 12 o'clock above center. .3382. Nice group so far. .3378. Huh. .3356. I'm running a line right across that target dot. It's like I've taken a paper punch right across the top and went dee, 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 dee. Finally one's off of that string. 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, .3394. That one's right next to it, .3405. Bet. Didn't pick up that last round. Right there with the last two, .3370. Right there with everything, .3373. This would make an awesome coyote round. Woo! Actually, I'll probably take this to South Dakota. I'm going pheasant hunting. End of October. I'll probably take this out for some yotes. Let's look at these numbers. I just ran all 8. We had ES of 54, SD of 18, average 3376, highest was 3405, lowest was 3351. Let's go down and take a look at the target. All right, here we are at those 52 grainers. There's my first 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just shoot a line right at the top of that. There's 5, 6, 7, and 8. So it's just over MOA. That's pretty cool. That one's the MOA, those 77 grainers without that flyer. I was curious to see what those little 52 grainers would do. Pretty sweet. And we're working here, folks. We're getting a little bit better. Next, I'm going to try some different powders. I have some Redding competition shell holders coming that I can bump shoulders with these. I'm going to try a shoulder bump test with these as well and see how those turn out. So that's what I got for you today. Thanks for tuning in. I certainly appreciate it. Be sure to check it out. Hit that subscribe button for the next video. As always, people, stay free. Thank you so much for tuning in.
3, 2, 1, BAM! Destination fucked!